Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast for me, host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero of Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here to a 1v1 in Amilly Fields north of this Kobal, fighting for the Oberkommando Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 2nd Panzerdivision with Luftwaffe Ground Forces, Grand Offensive and Special Operations. In the south is Tiramisu, fighting for America, freedom, democracy. Here with the 6th Armored Division with Airborne, just Airborne, only Airborne. Folks, Kobal start there for Kobal, double rifle start there for Tiramisu, and as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters, wonderful people on roll, supporting the warfare there with the hard-earned money. Big thanks to all those. Other people can join the ranks, become a champion of the Propagandacast as well by pledging on Patreon, or you can donate by PayPal. Links are in the description. Or if you're considering pre-ordering Communist 3, you can do so by the links in the comments. In which case, I get a cut of the sale there. Use the code STUG3G to ensure to get the cut. Exactly, it's written there in the comments as well there. And finally, just comment, like, share, subscribe. So, double rifle start here, full scale Kuhwagen here, so far pretty spread out start here. Though interesting enough, you can see a Kobal getting a bit more aggressive with the Sturmpionier, a bit more bullish here. West side we got Tiramisu here with his 2 rifle squads, the Riesens on a lonesome mission in the far east on their own, their carbines. Perhaps not ready to meet the German assaults head on. Kuhwagen racing forwards here, Kobal scouting out the American positions. Note, while he's not even grabbing the fuel point here, he's much more, I think, aggressive in posture, looking, I think, to mess with Tiramisu's early game. Interestingly enough, again, by folks in the West, he's kind of apparently betting that Tiramisu is going to be hard focusing West to a degree. He kind of does, but he's also putting a bit of pressure on the East side there. Still being focused down, got close, doing plenty of damage. He brought his force away here. 2nd full squad away here. Troops moving straight for the car point here. Could maybe help deal with the rifle squad that is already wounded here with the Kubelwagen. Almost got a kill with the mighty Kubelwagen. There we go. Jack goes down. Grab the car pond over the full Grenadier, messing there with Tiramisu's fuel economy. Kuhwagen probably should just back off to the fuel pond there. 2nd full Grenadier squad headed for Kobal, and we got a 3rd rifle squad out for Tiramisu. Interesting build, by the way, they're considering it's gone for Airborne, like the average American player with Airborne, you know, go pretty early for some Pathfinders here. But Tiramisu's further east is not bothering with the Pathfinders at all. Perhaps he's already found his path. Rifle squad against the full Grenadiers, face against a wooden wall. Gonna have to fall back here pretty fast, and there you go. Tiramisu makes the only commander pick he could have made. That is Airborne. Guessing, yeah, a fast lieutenant here for Tiramisu. Well, fast, but a lieutenant. More full screens of Kobal. And we get Grand Offensive, in fact, with some Panzerfusiliere, the smoke bombs, Infantry-Sturmgewehrs, Panzerkommandant, and Tiger Tank. Specifically, the Command Tiger. Kuhwagen then got the point there in the west. So again, it is worth noting Kobal so far is just not grabbing the western fuel point here, which is definitely a bit unusual. Sorry about that. Panzerfusilier. Out. Sorry about that. Can't wait for summer to end, honestly. The humidity is not doing wonders for me. And it gets quite humid here in Denmark during the summer, I'm afraid. Particularly here in the islands. So the Sturmpionier putting 40 floats popping inside the shed, hoping to somehow withstand the Allied assault here. Sadly, wooden sheds are not known for their great defensive capabilities against Allied assaults. At least not sheds that small, we can really only fire at one window. Finally, Grand Western fuel pond there, definitely a bit of a delay there. Panzer also going in against the force of the right squad. There you go, popping up the other squad here now. Tiramisu's men being focused down, Lieutenant there out. Ambulance on the way for Tiramisu. Rifle squad here being focused down here, doing everything he can to kill those Americans. There you go. Lands a weapon Tiramisu in the early game. A full squad of GIs ripped apart there. Sad trumpets, of course, will be blowing in the Hollywood version of this episode, which will be in its theaters, you know, September 2032. Starring, I don't know, a CGI version of Tom Hanks. Rifle squad there charging at the front of the Panzerfusilier here. Kuhwagen flanking in there. 2 kills, veteran on there. Go incendiary grenade off here, though. In reality, the German army used Molotovs. Well, in many regards, it definitely went for, like, you know, times overcomplicated, you know, solutions. When it came to just, you know, these kind of things, the German army mass-produced Molotovs as well. They just call them Brandflaschen or, you know, fire bottles, incendiary bottles, whatever one there, and will basically just, you know, slightly fancy molotovs with, like, you know, basically either storm matches, like, you know, pin they could pull like a Steelhandgranate and then chuck it at the enemy. So that's about it, really. So, Tiramisu there, lost the Rav squad. Still, got good map control here. Kobal's early capping order there has definitely been a bit odd in some regards. Straight for the car on there. Tiramisu can see there, quick to back off. He knows he can't fight this engagement. He knows he cannot maintain that fight there for long without suffering needless losses. So, you know, there goes, suffers another man loss. In fact, it's the Lieutenant, which is actually a significant drop in DPS for the squad because the Lieutenant himself wields the Thompson, which is basically a much better assault rifle in terms of in-game stats. In the actual war, Thompson was not a better assault rifle, obviously, but in-game, it has been made so. So getting rid of the Lieutenant like that is actually like a significant DPS hit there to the Lieutenant squad. Flak half-track for Kobal. Let's see what follows next here, guessing some D33s, though he could surprise us with some Panzerschrecks. Rav squad pushing into focus here behind the stone wall there. Brandhandgranate chuck right here could be a pretty nice surprise to Tiramisu Rav squad, but no. Kind of Brandhandgranate instead do get a flank there, which also convinces Tiramisu that perhaps his men could do better elsewhere. In the west, Theresien's fighting against the Germans here in the field of dead cows. How did these cows die? What killed them? Watch it, find out in the History Channel spin-off series. Flak half-track there, almost done for Kobal. Straight for the car upon then the 251-17 out there for Kobal. There would later be the 251-17D, which went for a slightly more minimalized design with a more of a turret for the 270 gun there, and may also possibly have sort of still been used a bit as a half-track, and so in which case they've kind of been like, you know, predecessors to the infantry fighting vehicles. At least they're used as part of infantry's, you know, Panzergrenadier squads as well there with the half-tracks, so fun note there, by the way, fun note. But obviously not this version, which is a much bigger flak mounted on the in the back of it. But yeah, the Razor being hammered with the flak half-track, heavy damage there. Just Carl there alive. Forced to retreat here, and there's a chance here that Kobal could score another wipe there on Tiramisu. That's 2 wipes in the early game. But that said, Tiramisu, of course, he's got a rather big tool here to try and turn that around with the M5A1 Stuart light tank, which is an upgrade to the M3A1 Stuart light tank. Improvements included sloped armor and an improved engine. I think it's also like one of the very, very few actual cases where, like, you know, they actually improved the tank design by adding sloped armor. Anyways, troops there repairing the Kubelwagen. Paratroops there being dropped in for Tiramisu, Freedom, and Democracy. 101st Airborne there, Screaming Eagles. Adding the Browning light machine guns. Could get a wipe here, and that certainly, of course, helped things up for Tiramisu. Rekem setting up the flak happening as well there. Prop moving up to safety, but there, Rekem there lands a great Stuart there. Troops being hammered with the flak half-track. Stuart Pino round over that. A Panzerschreck, they can't do enough damage. They had researched a Panzerschreck. He could actually take out the Stuart there, possibly. Pretty lucky there for Tiramisu. Had he lost the Stuart light tank there, he and the 6th Armored Division would have been in a pretty hot spot of water, even with support here from the airborne units here under Tiramisu's freedom-loving command. Focus with the Stuart light tank here close to Tiramisu's base. Predator, they almost got the double Browning light machine guns ready. Panzerfusilier there with the Gewehr 43. Rav squad here caught by the flak half-track and the Panzerfusilier. Tiramisu hauling his men out of there. Close call there, though. More Panzerfusilier here for Kobal. And another paratroop squad here for Tiramisu. Now, that is definitely actually quite uncommon. Like, you'll typically get to see some Pathfinders, 1 paratrooper squad here, but Tiramisu instead is like going pretty heavily on the paratroopers, which is, again, comparatively rare. And despite, you know, again, paratroopers like just light machine guns, but Thompsons are quite good. And obviously, 2 paratrooper squads, both for light machine guns, actually capable of laying down an intense amount of firepower here. So this could become a bit of a nightmare there for Kobal's infantry. Cancel the Panzerfusilier for 8 machine gun team here. Possibly in response to seeing just more paratroops and realizing he's going to need some other tools to fight these guys off. Shutsamina down here for Kobal. Didn't caught with the flak half-track. Shutsamina's fan Fitzek was an interesting design there, at least, you know, considering it was breaking ground, at least in some ways. In part, it was actually much harder to detect, being made out of mostly wood, I believe, and glass. So it was much harder for mines to be actually detect. Another element to it was actually designed to maim rather than kill. There you go, Paratroopers, the Fultons here, again, the light machine guns at that range are just shredding the Fultons. The Kevin also in trouble, he will need to retreat here. Black Half Tech doing an account. There's already Bazooka teams here as Tiramisu goes straight up the center. There we go, a Kevin percent packing. Stuart on the flank here, machine gun holding up here. Some of Tiramisu's forces, the Sturmpuny are flanking in. No pantry check on those, by the way. Looks like here, Kobal was narrowly able to hold the center there against Tiramisu's assault. Second Paratrooper squad, by the way, far basically in the east. And Kobal here, in response to Tiramisu's fairly aggressive infantry antics, is committing to another MD-34 team here. Deploying more heavy machine guns there to meet the Amerikaner head-on. Jumping around the paratroopers. Yeah, the shooting in that regard was fairly unique. And thus couldn't be actually the type of minesweepers. Obviously, endgame, that'd be, you know, pretty unbalanced and miserable. In the actual war, though, they used dogs to sort of spot these mines out. Or just, you know, if they suspected a minefield, you started blasting. Okay, Tiramisu are definitely going out there where most American players will rarely, if ever, go 3 paratrooper squads. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of paratroopers. Quite expensive, obviously, in terms of direct manpower investment, light machine upgrades, but also just reinforcement costs. But at the same time, you do get a lot of elite infantry that packs a hell of a punch there, and that can definitely make things much challenging there for Kobal. He is taking up, though, Schwerer Wehrmachtschlepp on the way for what I imagine is a Schwerer Panzer quarters. And the west side there, Tiramisu makes a breakout push there for the western fuel point. In the center, though, the 2 paratrooper squads here meeting Kobal head-on. Panzers current the flank MD-34. They're trying to catch the Americans out in the open, but again, it is also out in the open. Thus is an easy target here for the light machine gunners. I mean, never mind the M1 carbine, guys. Still able to retreat the machine gun there through, I think, sheer luck there, honestly. Had that been me, that machine crew would have been wiped 2 times over at that point. Punches the paratroopers, they fall back here towards the fresh defensive position here as Kobal keeps on the sword, baiting out into them as well here. Nice play there by Tiramisu. Do get a shield gun out of the right into the bunched up paratroopers here. And there we go, he doesn't move! Good God, he almost suffered a wipe there. Instead, he did suffer a lot of casualties nonetheless. I mean, that's definitely a bit expensive there in terms of paratroopers. At least they didn't get wiped, I guess. That would have been even more expensive there for Tiramisu. Retreating back here. They do cost a bit, the reinforced, though. Interesting enough, they're still cheaper to reinforce than Grenadiers. That's a fun side note. Kobal and then knocked out. Flakcraft had also in trouble. Good push here by Tiramisu, exploiting the chaos there on the right flank to hit some more exposed targets, knocking up both the Kobal's light vehicles. That is a great hit there for freedom, and definitely leaves Tiramisu there much more... Kobal, I mean, much more exposed. Not Tiramisu, though. Not Tiramisu. Got the pairs of them moving forwards. More reinforcement here, healing for Tiramisu, freedom and democracy. Kobal, though, has his Schwerer Panzer quarters almost ready here, and can almost then proceed to authorize it. I would not be surprised to see some Orbs on as well, trying to hit back at the paratroopers with some other light machine gun troops there. Moving forward here across the western fields, right into the MD-34. And there we go, Orbs on here for Kobal. In fact, going for them before even authorizing the Schwerer Panzer quarters. Not that it really makes a difference at this stage, to be honest. Like, in fact, getting out the Orbs faster might be the better choice. But, like, in terms of, you know, other impacts, it doesn't really delay anything because it doesn't really affect anything else. Except going for tanks, and he's not going to go for tanks anytime soon anyways. Seen again, they're caught in a bit of a bad spot by 3 paratrooper squads again with 6 light machine guns. You definitely, again, do not see this very often. There you go, Steel Hunt gun and the paratroopers, though, quickly dodged there by Tiramisu. Also flanking the lieutenant, getting some good hits in the west side there. We got a big push here by Kobal. Schwerer Panzer quarters would be a good idea to get that authorized soon. Obviously moving forwards there. Light machine guns on the way there as well. Thumbs up to that. West side of the MD-34 was the Ralph squad there. No grenades. He means they're going to get ripped apart at close range here unless the gunner is apparently really, really slow. Oh, so they're coming right at us. Yeah, I just need my cafe. We don't have coffee. Shoot the trigger or we're dead! Good rolling in here. Authorizing now. So yeah, suddenly Tiramisu was back in control on the field versus Kobal. Kobal had his opportunities, but definitely had some tactical mishaps here, which Tiramisu has been quick to exploit. Again, the loss of the flag half track has really made it so much more difficult for Kobal to like hold ground here versus Tiramisu stop these infantry assaults. I mean, the flag half track was probably one of his best tools if he's stopping all these, you know, paratroopers. It does make it sort of interesting then, in a not great way, of course, that he left his flak half track as unsupported as did in case the Stuart rushed forward. So it hits a mine there, suffers some critical engine damage, but can Kobal catch up with him to finish it off here? Can he get close enough? That is the big question you've heard for. Also, they're turning to the paratroopers. Stuart, they're just hauling ass out of there in the face of the German Wehrmacht here. The orbitals there, they already took some nasty losses, down to just 2 men. West side, they're fighting for the fuel point. The east side could make a breakthrough to the fuel point there. Yes, indeed. Kobal there. Can soon go for some armor. That's going to take a while. Meanwhile, Tiramisu's got a Sherman on the way. Thumbs up to that. Lots of paratroopers, then reinforcement healing. More assurances that they're not going to get played by Matt Damon in the future movie. Or Charlotte both. Just promise me, Sarge, you won't have me played by Shia LaBeouf. Don't worry, Carl. Don't worry. That won't happen. You have my word. Ralph's quarter being hammered, suppressed. Major there pushed back. Sherman almost done there for Tiramisu. Tiramisu's not looking too great in the victory points either, though it's definitely leading in other ways. Second look in here for Kobal. Kenma shoots whiffs there on the Stuart light tank. Rascal flanking the Kenma. We've got punches nearby. 13 kills. Virtually 2 their full squad. They're definitely in a really, really bad spot. Will need to retreat. And even then, they could actually still end up being wiped here, though. He's definitely getting some hits there on Tiramisu's infantry in return here. Rascal here actually in a really precarious situation. I think Tiramisu might have made a miscalculation there. Just struggled there to keep up with things. Does he actually get away? Yes! Holy smokes, that looked like a clear wipe here. Meanwhile, big flank here by Tiramisu. 3 paratrooper squads, 1 Sherman. Lots of pain for the Germans. Kobal was definitely not expecting that one. East side here, Fulton's about to get flanked by the Sherman lieutenant. They're keeping the tide down. Meanwhile, the paratroopers on a rampage in the center here. Kobal and the 2nd Panzer Division, 5th Panzer are going to do company, falling a bit back here to reorganize and reconsider the next step. Could soon go for a Panther 4 here. Of course, Kobal could be a bit insane in trying to hold up for a Tiger tank right now versus Tiramisu, though that would definitely be highly risky and could certainly backfire on him. Certainly not something I advise. Orchard reinforcing healing there. West side, there we got the Major Ming Forts for Freedom, Democracy. There we go. Panzerkampf here for Kobal. Thumbs up. Certainly wouldn't rule out a Tiger tank eventually, but I think under current circumstances, trying to go for a Tiger tank now would be a bit questionable here for Kobal. Major taken out by a mine. Oh, that was a major mistake. Good one, sir. Thanks. Counter 4, they're halfway done. Flares off here from Kobal, actually using the Panzer for this flare ability. Thumbs up. It's actually pretty rarely utilized. Despite some players really using Panzer flares, they typically actually don't make use of the flare despite it being quite good. You know, thumbs up. We also finally got a Panzerschreck on the Sturmpionier. Guess they finally found it. Eastern point seized by the Lieutenant, El Teniente. Panzer 4 there for Kobal, adding the Panzer Commandant. Panzer 4 getting out there, the Panzer Commandant almost done. Interesting note, he's actually not salvaged like either the Kubelwagen or the flak half tank for fuel. Slight oversight here for Kobal, slight oversight. Needs the Sturmpionier around the Lieutenant, but needs to get those victory points under control, and of course just get some fuel under control, because otherwise Tiramisu will drown him beneath a tide of armor. MG Fed folding up, piece. Ralph scored caught. I need to bring up some more support here against the armor here, as Tiramisu is just going for the full sledgehammer approach. And again, he's got the full paratrooper platoon here, ready to just bring down hell on the Krauts. Anderson moving up, and looks like, yeah, he's going to go for, I think, for a deeper flank with the Panther. I think that's pretty sharp here, rather than charging into the tank's front line. He's going to get up behind them. 2 thumbs to Kobal. That is definitely the smart move here. Catches the paratroopers, actually, though he's still a bit cautious. I imagine there's a possibility, like, you know, tank destroys more tanks, or, you know, bazooka teams here hiding. That's causing him to be careful even with that flank here, but still much more than trying to drive straight into where the tank's guns are already pointing. And actually, yeah, there we go. Ends up blunting the second wave of the assault here with the paratroopers. There we got Lieutenant's bazookas. Bit cross-eyed shot there. Panther 4 has to back off here. It's all a bit damaged. Sherman there's, yeah, bounces a shot there from the Panther 4. Panther 4 though bounces the next shot in return now. Bit of damage there from the Panzerkampf here, but the Sherman returns the favor as well. The east side here, seizing ground there for freedom, democracy, America. Another Sherman there for Tiramisu. Got the Western fuel on there. Lieutenant moving up here. Not a great engagement for the Lieutenant with 2 bazookas. In fact, the Lieutenant himself, I think, has actually picked up a bazooka, actually significantly decreasing the firepower because, again, no Thompson. That's actually quite lost in DPS for Tiramisu. Opens the paratroopers. Panther 4 setting out. Quick bun gun at the paratroopers, catching Tiramisu's elite screaming eagles. In a way, they're definitely going to be screaming. More bazooka teams here for Tiramisu. Basically, it's almost like he's just turning everything that isn't a paratrooper squad into a bazooka team because, you know, they're going to be dealing most of the anti-infantry damage anyways. Congratulations, sir. Thanks. For what? You're now Bazooka Joe. But my name's Terrence. Not anymore, Joe. Oh. Now some actually get a bar. Lucky them. Lucky them. Guess he's not committing that hard to bazookas, but there's still like 2 infantry squads turn into anti-tank teams. Oh, they're to get a bar as well, there. Maybe there's a misclick then. Maybe there's more purpose at either way, though. Show them there, straight into the academy over there. 348% on 85. Kobal still has a good victory point leader with Tiramisu. Tiramisu in other ways is definitely starting to give Kobal a much rougher time of things. He started another push here from Tiramisu straight into the MD-34 head on again. Orbs on the front and coming for up this time. Still just not great for machine gun. He just loses gunners too fast here. I think you should be more careful in the eastern field, at least without some cover there. Some anti-tanks. Well, there you go. Tiramisu on the offense here. Infantry backed up by 2 tanks. Thumbs up. The orbs are getting hammered on the west side. We got a second assault here as well. Overall, pretty good work. They're handling like 2 separate attacks here, though they are relatively close to each other, forming up not quite a pincer, but you know, something pincer adjacent. A really, really swollen hand, I guess. Clumsily grasping around something. Perhaps going straight for the few or victory upon these has been counted by the Fultgrenadiers. More bazooka fire against the Panther 4 here. 9 kills, half HP, 2 falls in healing. Could go for another Panther 4 here, so it would be better. You could also go for the Yak Panther to help hold down the tanks, you know, a bit more actively. Scott for Tiramisu, having 2 Shermans and a light tank. He's just bringing some self-propelled artillery. Honestly, I think that's a really good idea at this stage. Some players like go for Scots right away. But I think, you know, after 2 Shermans and Stuart, having a bit of self-propelled artillery is a really good idea. But certainly, Tiramisu so far is not playing your average, you know, USF airborne meta game, that's for sure. No Pathfinders and all paratroopers instead. Panther 4 actually 2, that's handy, gives us a nice accuracy bonus. Stuart there being fixed in the east, Sherman being fixed out by the center. West side we got the Sherman backed up by plenty of infantry. Ready to meet any Germans. And oh, there you go, the range of double AK is pretty close range. Not great there for the Sherman, good chance of losing here. Nope! The Ken efforts are being pushed back here by the She number infantry with all the automatics. Forcing here Kobal to shoot the Ken efforts before he can finish off the Sherman. That was pretty fortunate there for Tiramisu. Losing a Sherman there would have been a big help there for Kobal. It's starting to look like Kobal is either planning either a Panther now or the Tiger Tank. So the Tiger Tank could be helpful as both the Shermans, but also all the infantry. So in theory, not an entirely bad idea here for Kobal to consider. Not an entirely bad idea. Certainly I think at this stage would be a better pick than a Panther for sure. But whether that's a better choice than say just another Panther 4 can certainly be argued about. Skirmish on the west side here, final first and fuel upon the ends in victory for Kobal. Wooden shed there finally collapses. Got the Panther from eastwards and getting the lieutenant here backed up at the Volkskommandier and the Sturmpionier. We'll need to retreat the lieutenant that soon before he gets absolutely slaughtered. And even drops a bazooka here for Kobal to possibly use against Tiramisu. There we go, lieutenant exterminated. And loses the Orbital on MG-34. Whew, that's quite a blow there in return as well there. But now he has his own anti-tank team there. With a mix of Panzer and bazookas here to take on Tiramisu. But losing the Orbital really hurts him. That's definitely one of his best anti-infantry units there. Plus they kind of look cool. Sturmpionier, I think he should retreat here. I mean, he could try and buy more time with him in these. There we go. Double rocket strike than the Sherman. Taking off a nice chunk of its health total there. Panzer coming up, then getting the Scott, but it shoots and misses. West side there, grabbing the point here. A bit isolated, could be targeted for the Sherman. Light machine still out in the open. On the other hand, Kobal is close to the Tiger Tank here. And Tiramisu basically only has a couple of Shermans and the bazookas, then try and take on the Tiger Tank. I mean, they can do it if Tiramisu is smart about his attacks. Tiramisu is obviously not exactly a slouch here, so definitely not impossible. I wouldn't be surprised to see some anti-tank guns or Jacksons in response to the Tiger Tank here from Kobal. So on the west, also note the movement pattern. He actually moves the infantry up here towards here, that way covering the retreat path and maximising your chance of getting wiped in the Volkskommandiers. Thumbs up to Tiramisu, that is very smart footwork there. Now we got the Panther trying to replicate the same thing, just one squad here, but also backed up with the Panther 4. MG-34, definitely not setting up the way that I imagined Kobal had imagined. And there you go, Tiger Tank out here, befehlt Panzerkampfwagen 6. And in the Panamad machine gun, for those wondering why doesn't that get a Panzer Commander, it used to, but that turned out to be too good on a Tiger Tank, so they kind of scrapped that one. Shoots, and Bobby there gets completely debobbified with an 88mm high explosive shell. Nice shot there on the shown by the Tiger Tank. I've got hot pursuit machine setting up here. Panther getting from the other side. More damage inflicted by the Tiger Tank here on Tiramisu infantry. Still grab that light machine if you can. Showing the ting hits from the Kevin and the Panther 4. And there we go, almost got the Sherman. This could be quite a blow here to Tiramisu. There we go, Sherman kaput. Scott also in the danger zone here. Could Kobal go for a double whammy here? But there you go, battery 3 on the other end. The Sherman A does seem to convince Kobal to back off a bit, or at least wait for the Tiger Tank drive to before deploying another sledgehammer blow here against Tiramisu's kneecaps. Good shot there, and there we go. Got the P-47 rocket strip there being unleashed here against Kobal, breaking up his armored assault, forcing him to retreat here. And now turning the offense here. US Air Force there screaming rockets down the Germans. Use tank crews, meanwhile, thankful they're not the ones getting hit, as American pilots were somewhat notorious for not always hitting the right targets. Which mean not great at the whole friend to foe thing. Shot fire at the paratroopers. That said, overall though, for all pilots in general, like, there were issues just like, you know, identifying the right targets. And friendly fire issues just happened with all sides. Just the Americans were a bit more known for it. Three kills in the command Tiger, close veteran to 1 here. Jackson tension for Tiramisu from the response to the Tiger Tank. Prepared to take nice hit. There we go. Veterans won the Tiger Tank, opening up for the command Tiger ability, which allowed to boot the Panther 4's performance next to it. More shots from the Tiger tank. 328 on 27. Troops in reinforcing. Stewart on the move here. Backed up by the Scot. No one still has bonded up with that light machine gun, by the way. Half 854 there on the Panzer 4. Good shot there on the Sherman. Right for the frontal armor. Second shot bounce. We've even got Comet Blitzer, which increases not just the ability but the rate of fire of the Panther 4, which then combined with their 2 feet does give it a good rate of fire. And there you go, eventually for more accuracy, but the focus is being absolutely slammed into the ground here. Tiger tank moving up here. Decent shot there, killing Joey there. Prepared for the next line of sight. There we go. Anti-tank rifle. No, actually, thought we'd get that one off, but he didn't. And there you go. That rifle squad is just being absolutely smashed there by German tank fire. They're almost wiping out the entire squad. They're paratrooping up the center. There's 7 kills on the Tiger tank. And the west side here, paratroopers making an example here with the Panzer Fusilier there. Tiger tank down to half health there. It's going to get hit by an anti-tank rifle grenade now. Ashley Jackson pursues it. Kevin Evers also treat at the same time. This is great for Tiramisu there. Blunder here by Kobal has left his Tiger tank easy prey there for the tank destroyer. Panther 4 can't even assist either. Good chance losing the command. Okay, he could try and deploy smoke, but I'm guessing Kobal sort of caught up in things and just forgets about it. So there you go. Great kill there for Tiramisu. Great kill. That is a significant blow to Kobal and the German Panzerwaffe. That one will be fairly tough to replace. Fairly tough to replace. Fixing up the Panther 4 there. Also means he's going to have to rely a lot more on the Panther 4. And likely have to go for another Panther 4 in the near future. Or again, a Yak Panzer. As the Yak Panzer could certainly fight the Jackson more on his own turf. Losing the western fuel point again. Needs to do more work on that one, on the eastern one. Paratroopers being caught here by Kobol's advancing Volksgrenadier. Sending those American paratroopers packing. German shoots, whiffs. The chemo's in the move as well here. Western fuel point there being seized steadily here by Tiramisu. Excellent work here, even as Kobal is focused on the west side. He's completing the side of the sides of the map, losing sight. Thus making it easy for Tiramisu to harass and just deny Kobal resources. So that is excellent play there by Tiramisu. Excellent. Back at base here, nothing further happening except just, reinforcement healing. Got the western fuel point now, so he's back to having both fuel points under control compared to like Kobal then with none. Another Scot here for Tiramisu. Clearly highlighting his focus now is more on the infantry support weapons around the Panther 4. Could get the Scot here though. Got it. Student Pioneer gets the killing blow there. Excellent Panther 4 there. Close to the ace level. Veteran 5. That's it. The paratrooper halts there. It forces away the Cadnavs and forces the Panther 4 to disengage because they can't easily deal with that Jackson, of course, with that much veterancy and a well-timed Comet Blitz. It could take out the Jackson with a bit of luck. A good amount of luck. Gotta wipe there again. Tiramisu down just paratroopers now. He doesn't even have any rifle squads left. Just paratroopers and armor. And a machine gun, I guess. Panther 4 there gains the ace level, increasing its accuracy on the move. Hold back there. But yeah, that Panther 4 has really done some heavy lifting here for Kobal. Another Panther 4 there. And that also obviously works as well. Definitely not a bad idea to go for another Panther 4 either. Certainly, I think by far the most cost-efficient tank there in the Oberkommando West. Scots fired in the west here. We got lots of weapons dropped out now. German and American light machine guns, and so far, no one seems to be picking them up. Panzerkampfwagen all fixed up. Still needs to salvage the Kubelwagen. The Panther 4. Some fuel. I still think that help out Kobal a bit here versus Tiramisu. Just a bit. Fresh Orbison there for Kobal on the way. Trying to Panther Scott. There we go. Paratroopers at the ready. Like Chemo's moving forwards. There we go. Jobble hits on the kit. Jackson tank destroyer there. Pushing him down to half health. Panther 4 on the move. He engaging the paratroopers out in the open. And we got an artillery strike here on the MG-34. Paratroopers are taking us hit from the Panzerkampfwagen 4 Ace. Oberleutnant Helmut Meyer. And there you go, machine wall strike there. Paratroopers there. Narrowly waits to retreat, so they avoid running into the artillery strike here. Panzer IV, there 40 kills. Tiramisu's infantry, of course, now all composed of paratroopers, are definitely bearing the brunt here of the fighting. And the west side here, fresh fighting over the western field point there. Paratroopers charging the Panzers near both east level. But there you go, paratroopers dropping the H here with a grenade and takes out a good chunk there. We've got the Panzer IV Ace to the rescue here. Again, 40 kills. Likely to come more. In the center there, Stewart and Sherman backing off here. Also moving forwards. Got the light machine that grab. Could still grab another one then, which would obviously still be pretty good in the Obersoldaten. The light machine guns on Obersoldaten really, has some kick to it. Again, we've wiped out. That was a bit of awkwardly handling there by Kobal. Counter the Panther 4, so my guess here is Kobal is in fact going to try and go for another Tiger tank, which under current circumstances is definitely pretty risky. Panther 4's close to being knocked out here. Yep, Panzerkampfwagen 4 kaput. A huge blow there to Kobal. And again, one wonders if he just had a second Panther 4 here, maybe that wouldn't happen, or at least just deployed smoke. In fact, despite some otherwise good moves tactically and ability-wise, I feel like Kobal is sleeping on the smoke bomb's ability. I feel like that could have actually helped him here get his Panther 4 to safety. But then again, maybe it's just, under a lot of pressure, just didn't think it himself. But personally, I think, well deployed, it could have maybe provided an increased chance of the Panther 4 survive. Anyways, going back to Ronraketen Alpha. Another Sherman there for Tiramisu. Kobal there, getting closer to the Tiger tank, day by day. We got those orbs on here with double light machine gun. Paratroopers setting out here. Again, a full 3 squads. A lot of firepower. Quad here, we got 267 to 117. Kobal very close to his second Tiger tank. Sneak up the eastern side with the Obersoldaten. Another mass assault here with Tiramisu straight up the center with his paratrooper elites. Sherman also racing forwards. Freshman out the Orbs and the east was the paratrooper. They got the Stewart, the rushing forwards here. Tiger tanks very close with the Obersoldaten, are just simply unable to match the firepower here from Tiramisu and are just retreated, and hopefully Kobal takes survive, but there's a chance here that Tiramisu just wipes them. Got the second Tiger tank out here for Kobal. Sherman got the center here. Another mine goes off. Jackson hits the mine. Huge here for Kobal. If you can destroy the Jackson now. Huge. That's it. The Jackson may run off with the Student Phoenix force back, so he can't catch up with it. Tiger tank moving forwards. And Kobal at least clear out some of the tanks, tank destroyers. Good shot there on the Sherman. No smoke being deployed here by Tiramisu either. Of course, he could be baiting into, chance we can call in P-47 rocket shapes here. There we go. Almost got the Sherman, but only just almost there. Go use the crew repair bullets, and the Jackson pops the H4 rounds as well there. 2 thumbs up to Tiramisu. Pretty sharp there. And suddenly the Tiger tank is already heavily damaged and almost knocked out there in a matter of seconds. Really nicely done there by Tiramisu. They completely well executed its backhanded slap there at Kobal. Kobal there in a really tough spot now versus Tiramisu. Not quite GG yet though. He still has his Tiger tank, still has a fair amount of infantry, but certainly things are looking tougher for Kobal and the German army in the face of Tiramisu. Gonna shoots whiffs. That is some pretty good light there for Tiramisu. Just moving forwards there. Tiger tank there being repaired steadily. Cabs are going forward. Sherman taking hit from my cannon is being repaired. Close to losing a squad there though. Start flanking, and that could result in Kobal losing his remaining cannon after here versus Tiramisu. Really looking tough. There goes forces in the Tiger tank, not even fully repaired here. He has to commit it against Tiramisu. It's only, I think, highlighting the amount of just pressure Tiramisu is able to effectively wield here versus Kobal. And of course, crucially, he's not really lost a lot of armor vehicles in the process compared to his opponent. I mean, he's lost, I think, one Sherman, but he's replaced that one. He's got a Jackson, he's got the Scott, he's got the Stud. I mean, in this regard, Tiramisu has a significant armored advantage now over Kobal, who's basically got one Tiger tank. Just one Tiger tank against all that is certainly going to struggle. When it backed up by such infantry as the paratroopers, with some of them some pretty high kill tallies. Not getting fixed there. Pretty rough stuff here for Kobal. Pretty rough stuff. Still hope though, but it requires, I think, a really well-executed attack here that blindsides Tiramisu and delivers some heavy damage from an angle. We cannot easily respond to that. Instead, he just goes straight up the center. I mean, theoretically, catch Tiramisu off guard with that, I guess, but I think that is a little less likely. I think Basil agrees looking at where he's looking at me. Jump rush into the Tiger tank. Lakedin a Pantry actually on the Jackson there. Panther Hustle's roll here. This could maybe what he Kobal was looking for against Tiramisu. Maybe Sherman there down to half health. More Panther Strike Bazooka fire here. Stuart rushing straight for the Tiger tank here. Damned engine on it. Those Shermans going for it. The kill here. I think just to push it away, though, honestly, to allow him to pull away some other stuff here. There's the Jackson, though. Oh, he's actually sending it back in here. Oh, really just shows how confident Tiramisu is in the current situation here versus Kobal. Even like, you know, several units with, you know, disabled engines. He's still fairly confident to take on the Tiger with them. Hunter being ripped apart here as Tiramisu wants more strikes for freedom, democracy, the free world. Apparently, Basil needed to make a statement. Run across the desk while meowing. No idea why, though. No idea why. That's Basil in a nutshell at times. Another Jackson there for Tiramisu. Kobal remains in a pretty rough spot. In fact, now Tiramisu has the big 2-point lead over Kobal. Again, we've been caught here by the American Stuart Light Tank, 18 kills. Orbs and Olsing wiped out. Tiger Tank getting the paratroopers here, 7 kills, close to 2. Oh, he was hoping to bait them into the bun grenade. Didn't happen. Instead, he lost the orbital, and that is a hell of a loss there for Kobal. Didn't just lose the orbital, but he wasted the grenade. It's a big oof. Sturm Pioneers, the paratroopers. Of course, using their cans to kill those Germans there. Full swing force backed up the Panzerflieger here. That's looking rough here for Kobal. 77 was under 17. Good grenade, almost taking out one of Kobal's remaining full Scandia squad. Stuart racing it after Kobal's reinforced, maybe some looking to flank behind the Tiger tank. Go for it with a crippling shot and then send the rest of the armor, possibly. That'd be a pretty devious maneuver by Tiramisu, but I could see it happening. If not, we just see collapsing Kobal's front line once more as Tiramisu charges ahead for freedom and democracy. Punches there being hounded here by Tiramisu's flying sledgehammer blow here. And there you go, Tiger tank being met with all the firepower here of the arsenal of democracy. Tiger tank somehow survives that with a slip of health. His Sturm Pioneer Lakedin actually takes out one of Tiramisu's tanks, scoring an armored kill. Actually, parts of him even got a Stuart light tank. Good lord. Tiramisu actually took some losses, but even with these losses, he's got 2 Jackson, the Sherman, and a Scott, plus 3 Ace paratroopers. I mean, he didn't really lose that much. In some regards, actually replaces losses, and he's still got a good chunk of the map. So, like, there's still a lot of work here for Kobal to do. And at this stage, I honestly think he should actually consider earlier a Sturm Pioneer squad more to help repair his Tiger tank, because even like one Sturm Pioneer squad will take some time to fix up that one Tiger tank. Tiramisu with more Scots. Sims on and 1. Another whiff grenadier for Kobal. Fortunate for Tiramisu, less fortunate for Kobal. Grenade in return. Also whiffs. Scott getting Retchy 2 here. Fusion shot there. not far from the Jackson there on the Tiger tank. Actually 2 though, which isn't bad at all, but it obviously needs a lot more to really take on all this stuff, and it crucially needs more support. The Schwerpanzer quarters here could push out a Panther, but I think a Jagdpanzer again with its scope rate of fire, range and penetration would be much more useful for Kobal against all of this armor under Tiramisu's command compared to a Panther. And we'll of course have to see if Kobal can even get there. He's still bleeding out of victory points pretty fast. And it's taking forever for him to again fix up that Tiger tank. Again, like he also just needs more Sturmpion here. Going for the Jagdpanzer, at least thumbs up there to Kobal. Double rocket hits down the Jackson there, the lead one, but the TIE tank's almost knocked out in return. The center German push forward here is being met with absolutely unrepentant violence here from Tiramisu. Pretty much getting a wipe there. Sturmpion pushing forward with their bazooka and their Panzerschreck. But it is not enough to stop here the armored fist of freedom from Tiramisu. Graham Neeson upon to the paratroopers. 55. Person on 1, 54. Picks up the Sherman in the west. Looking increasingly difficult for Kobal to turn this around. Looking increasingly difficult, to put it gently. Need to fix up that Tiger tank, obviously. He's got his Jagdpanzer now. Equipped with a high velocity gun. Same, by the way, as the Panther. Hammering here the Schwerpanzer quarters. 38% on 1. Can Kobal turn this around? Can he achieve victory for das Vaterland? Straight here for the Scot. Almost got it. Pop goes the Weasel. A small kill here for Deutschland. Still got a lot more killing to do and needs to do so pretty fast. 21 here. $17, and even like again the full Sturmpanzer squad easily was still taking him time to repair that Tiger tank. Like he really badly needs more Sturmpion here. Jackson sent hit, but there we go, engaged by double Jacksons. One of them ace level here. The odds are stacking against Kobal. 9 points left here. 7 points. 4. And 1. And with that, I think it's safe to say that is GG here for Kobal. Game over. A hell of a fight here with some certainly fairly rare American strategies and tactics, but I think Tiramisu definitely showed you one way to make use of paratroopers. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I've learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Link saying cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.